Friends, what is up? You know, every time that I make one of these videos, it just serves as a reminder of how much closer I am to home. There's only actually two more of these videos, and then I'll be right back in that voice chat giving my opinions in real time. Trust me, those 2 months cannot pass quickly enough. I'm so tired of this place and ready to be back home. The book, though, there's a lot to be spoken about. I mean, it's definitely a bunch of words on a bunch of pages, or I guess in actuality, it's a bunch of sound waves ingested through my ears with the way that I read. I don't know if I'm going to have the strongest opinions on the majority of the book because I felt like I was on autopilot a lot of the time that I was listening to it. It didn't really capture me until the final chapters of the book where things really started going down. So let's start with some general overview type feelings. Like I already said, the first probably 2/3 of the book was kind of uninteresting outside of the actual communion parts. Really, if I'm trying to summarize what I remember from the beginning 2/3 of the book, it just kind of comes down to a city girl gets put in a farm town. She sees a monster and learns to commune with it. And then there's a cult that surrounds everything, and they're seemingly rewriting the experiences of the people who actually commune. I couldn't even really describe the 1940 side of the story other than it's the same girl who's older now, and she has to deal with her grandmother's death and people wanting to expose the monster. Oh, and there's also moonshining as a subplot because the book is set during Prohibition. I will say the book does get some brownie points though for calling the monster Ghost Daddy. I thought it was hilarious every time I heard it, and it did not stop being funny. The final third of the book, though, was way more interesting than what came before it, at least to me. Finally getting to experience how, I think his name was Lunk, how he died and all the tendril stuff that kind of came out of nowhere. It was a nice boost. It did come out of nowhere, but it was a boost to the excitement level of the story. Finding out that these children are not really children and are born out of a pig was crazy. Like, how does the human DNA fit in there? Maudie, I think that was the grandma's name, has a lot of explaining to do. Crazy power move killing the ghost daddy at the end, though. Shame it didn't stick, and now you've got the ghost father armada coming after you. I think part of what disconnected me from the book was the frequent hopping back and forth in time. Maybe I just don't have the mental capacity, apparently, to separate two timelines in my brain. But a lot of the time, I was listening and thinking, wait, are we young or old Stella? It's really interesting to me, too, because I enjoyed the Rose Code, and that book did time hops throughout the entire story. But for some reason, the Revelator's timey-wimey skibbity doodahs just didn't hit all their marks. So all in all, I don't think that I can really recommend the Revelator, as it didn't really hook me into it. It was just one of those I gotta finish it for book club type books. If I had started reading it on my own, I don't know that I would have made it much further than like chapter 6 or 7. For reference, I normally start the book club the day after the book club meeting day, and if a book is actually interesting to me, I'll be listening to it throughout the month, and then I'll finish sometime around the 15th. This book, after I paused it on chapter 6, I didn't pick it up again until like the 26th or so. It just hadn't connected with me in a way that made me want to read further into it. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the Revelator. And if you thought I was going to end the video without telling you what game I was playing while listening, think again. This month I was playing Terraria while listening to the book. I figured I would try and get all the achievements in both Terraria and the 2017 Prey before Starfield comes out in September, and that'll put me at 10 100% completions on Steam. Well, that's all that I have for today, and it's nice that we already have the next book picked out, so I can go ahead and start that one while I'm bashing my head in on some of these Terraria hard mode bosses. So I'll see you guys next month for the penultimate video in this series. Take care, friends, and I'll see you in less than 90 days.